Welcome back, y'all. If you hadn't figured it out already, today we're going to be working in some more hay. This is the last of my fall cutting here. And man, I tell you what, I can't wait to get it done. Much as I love fooling with hay, I'll be glad when this right here is done. And it'll be one more thing checked off of the list that's got to be done here this fall. Let's go out here and flip a little bit over and over and just see what it looks like. But from what I see right here, I believe it's ready. Yeah, underneath there's still some green, but that's okay. Once we start raking this up and flipping it over, it'll pick it up into that windrow. The air can get through it, and it'll be dry by the time I get back over here to bale it this evening. This hayfield does have some broom straw in it, and I'm not exactly happy about that, but there ain't nothing at the moment that I can do about it. I tried to get over here and mow it early enough that the broom straw hadn't bloomed out. But it is. Right here it is. Y'all see that? That's broom straw blooms. Now that's not a terrible thing, but I really just don't like broom straw in my hay, as y'all have heard me say before. I mean, the cows ain't really going to eat it. They'll pick through it. There is a bunch of good grass in here. Like down low, there's some really good thick grass. As the old saying goes, it'll be better than a snowball this winter. So I'm going to get the tractor unloaded, go ahead and make me a couple rounds around the field, see how things look, and we'll catch up with y'all here in a few minutes. While I'm letting my tractor warm up for just a minute, I want to mention something real quick. I did mention that this had broom straw in it, and this, in my opinion, is the poorest quality hayfield that I cut. Now, with that being said, I am big on having high quality hay for your animals through the winter. This hay right here will either be backup hay, and I'm not saying it's bad hay. It's actually really good hay. It's just not the best hay that I cut. You know, it's not the best that I have. But this hay right here will kind of be like my backup plan, my spare hay. And honestly, if we need bales to unroll on the garden and stuff like that, that will be this hay right here. All of my other hay will be fed before this last cutting of hay right here will be. I'll have this wrapped up and stored somewhere. And so that's typically how I do hay during throughout the winter. And I know I just said I feed this last because it'll be my spare hay. However, I've already got plenty of hay, and I really think we've got more than enough hay to get us through the winter. If I didn't have enough hay to get me through the winter, this is what I'd be feeding first. Because early part of the winter, you know, your cows still might have a little bit of grass to graze on and stuff like that. So I'd be feeding the poor quality hay first, and save my high quality hay for the dead of winter when there's absolutely nothing else for the cows to eat, and they need the most nutrition out of that hay that they can possibly get. That's when I'd be using my high quality hay. However, since we have an abundance of hay this year, this is going to be considered my backup hay. And it's something I'd like to bring to the attention here before anybody goes and says, and it's fine because y'all are all right. I'm not knocking anybody for trying to tell me how to fix the broom straw problem in this field. But what I want y'all to understand is this land ain't my land, and this land ain't land that I'm going to cut hay off of forever. There will be a house most likely built over here in the next probably 3 to 5 years. And basically all I'm doing is doing the guy a favor by keeping the hay cut off of it, and that way he doesn't have to pay nobody to bush hog it. Now, with that being said, I do plan, most likely, if things go like I think, I do plan to fertilize it in the springtime. But, you know, lime and stuff like that, that's kind of like a long-term investment into a piece of property. I'm not sure that I want to make that investment on a piece of land that I'm not going to be able to use. Or let's just say it like this: the future is uncertain about it. You know, who knows? I may get to cut it for another 10 years. He may not decide to put a house over here, and you know, if it is, it is. But the future is uncertain. Fields, you have to pay attention to what you're doing. There's a lot of terraces in it. So I rake and mow. Well, when I mow it, I run with the terraces, and when I rake it, I run with the terraces. Because all of this at one time was planted in tobacco. That's been several years ago now, but the terraces are still there. Alright y'all, I finally got all this raked. Took me exactly 2.5 hours. And quality of it's actually better than I thought. I do got right across the top of this knoll here and back over on the other side of that knoll is some pretty heavy broom straw. But like I said, at this point there ain't nothing I can do about that. It's there and it's going to be there. There is still some good grass in here too. All of it has got really good grass on it. It looks great. So I've been doing a little bit of research on it here and there, and to get rid of this broom straw. And I found out that adding superphosphate would help get rid of broom straw. So not just lime, adding superphosphate as well. So I may try that. I actually seen that on a Greg Judy video. It was an older video, but he was talking about revitalizing land that was nothing but broom straw. They said that was one of the quickest ways to do it. So I may try that, and it makes sense because if you can ever get a hold of like chicken litter from one of these chicken houses, anytime you put that on the field, it usually takes care of your broom straw problem. And that kind of chicken litter, not only is it high in nitrogen, it's high in phosphorus as well. So it only makes sense that if I added superphosphate, it would help eliminate this broom straw, because broom straw, not only does it show that you have a out of balance pH, it also shows that you have poor land. And I have learned that you can have a pH that should be good for growing grass, and you'll still have broom straw. But I think it's more of a sign of poor quality or poor soil than anything else. So I'm going to try that in the spring. Of course, I've got from now to spring to worry about that. I might do some soil samples on the Hayfields and see what it shows. But that makes a lot of sense of why superphosphate would take care of broom straw. And superphosphate is straight phosphorus. Anyways, I am predicting that there's a lot more over here than it was in springtime. Just check that out. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous right now. So I'm not in a terrible hurry about getting this baled. I'm gonna go back to the house, grab me a bite to eat for lunch. It's a fairly late lunch, but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and eat. The time I get back over here with the tractor and all, I don't know if I'll get it all baled this season or not, because the kids and Megan both are wanting to go to a local fair tonight, and you know, I want to go too. So there's no rush in getting this up because we don't have any chance of rain in the forecast. So I'll be back over here this evening. I just don't know if I'll finish or not. Well, it is the very next day. Matter of fact, after lunch the very next day. You can see behind me here, I got a little bit of this baled up yesterday evening. I come over here and was here long enough to make 23 bales if I done the math right according to what my counter said. But I didn't video any of that because I was just trying to get as much done as I could before we went to the fair. And by the way, we had a great time at the fair. It's amazing though, man. It's getting expensive to go to the fair nowadays. Goodness gracious. But I'm tickled to death with how this is turning off right now. If y'all can remember, back in the spring, I only had 25 rolls on this whole field. And I've already got 23. And I'm a little over halfway done. So definitely going to have more than I did in the springtime. And I must say that if we'd have had a chance of rain or anything like that, I'd have probably skipped the fair and finished baling this hay last night. But since we still don't really have much chance of rain in the forecast, I didn't see what it was going to hurt. Making some good looking bales too. Nice and fairly tight. Right there's a broom straw bloom. But yeah, they look really good. It's simply amazing how dry we've got though. So another thing that I don't normally like to do is rake my hay and leave it laying like this overnight, because when it dews down underneath, that windrow like that will be wet under here. And see, there ain't a bit of dampness in there right now. But what'll happen is that'll get damp from the dew, and unless you come over here and flip these things over, they'll never dry. But right now our ground is so dry that we ain't having much in the way of any kind of dew right now. And so it wasn't even no concern. It's amazing how we went from so much rain to the last 3 weeks, we've not hardly had any. And everything is drying up quick. But I'm not gonna lie, normally I'd be complaining about not having rain right now, but I'm enjoying the dry weather. We were actually able to get some work done.
get some supper going. Tonight for supper, we're going to have a really simple meal, but it is mine and Andy's favorite, especially on a hot day after being outside, working hard. There's nothing like coming home to some delicious tacos. Now, these are Megan's North Carolina tacos. I realize I may not do them authentically, or maybe how I should. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure, but I fix them the way we like them anyway. So I'm going to show y'all how I do that. Just plumb simple. I'm going to go ahead and be heating up my pan here. Put a little grease in there. Just enough to cover the bottom of my pan. Now, in the wintertime, we don't eat tacos as much, but this is something really like I just said, on these hot days or warm days, I don't know, it's light enough that you don't feel miserable, but yet it's still filling. Now, these little tiny red peppers, a neighbor actually gave these to us. He has a crossed up pepper plant that he saves from year to year. I think he said actually his plant's like 3 or 4 years old. And so I'm going to put those in there. He said they're a little hot, so I'm going to put those in there whole so we can pick them out if we need to. Because I don't know how hot they... I feel like everybody's hot factor is a little different when it comes to peppers. They smell good. I'm going to give it a nice flavor to my tacos. Now, these are 2 poblanos off of our plant. I'm going to cut those up.
Now what I've run into is the hay was so dry and it's been kind of breezy that my windrows are blowed. So it's kind of hard for me to pick up the whole windrow. I'm leaving trails on the outside. But the wind come through and like knocked the top off of the windrow and scattered it out a little bit. And of course the breeze is blowing right on me. This is the only time, I've said it before, this is the only time I wish I had a cab tractor.
Now while these are softening up, I'm going to run down to my grocery store and I've got to grab our meat for the night. So for the tacos tonight, we're going to have some pork tacos. I love to use my canned pork for my tacos. So after my peppers get soft, I just pour that in there, the grease, the juice and all. The beautiful thing about canned meat is it's already cooked. So after it's warmed up, maybe browned a little bit, it's done. Alright, I'm going to season it up a little bit with some salt. Plenty of black pepper. Onion powder, or fresh onions, of course. Garlic powder. And a little dried herbs, because why not? These tacos are one of those things. This is like one of my versions of our fast food. Literally, I can have these tacos made much quicker than we could call in food, run to the restaurant, and get it, and pick it up and bring it home. But that canned meat helps tremendously with that part of it. see here what our taco mixture has turned into. This nice, beautiful shredded pork is so good. And so I've about cooked most of the liquid out of it, which is the way I like to do it, and that's how I know it's about done. I may let it get a few little burnt ends on it before I cut my heat off, but we are about ready. So because we're to this point, we gotta get our tortillas warmed up. So we like corn tortillas. And one of my big goals this year is with our fresh cornmeal, I want to learn how to make corn tortillas. Now I have a tortilla press and I've bought the masa mix and I've made them that way a couple of times. Still much to be desired with those. I'm still figuring that out. But my goal is I want to make these tortillas with our corn flour. I have a way to grind it and make corn flour and everything. So, my question for you, if you have any experience making corn tortillas with freshly milled, now it's a little different than self-rising or the masa, with freshly milled cornmeal, how to make tortillas, I would love to hear your advice. Would love to hear it. Because I am stoked. Like, I'm so excited to try it. And I know they're going to be really good after I get it figured out. But I can do a Google search and all of that. But if you have true experience making tortillas out of freshly ground or freshly milled corn flour, leave it in the comments. I want to hear how you do it. And I want to learn how to do it. You know, every year, and I haven't said this in a while, but you can hear me say in old videos, every year I like to learn something different. I like to accomplish something different. Tortillas has been on that list for a couple of years now, y'all. But like I said, this year is not even using the masa. I want to use freshly milled corn flour. So yeah, leave it in the comments if you have personal experience knowing how to make those. I cannot wait to see it. Man, I can't wait to have a pan of fresh cornbread anyway using that cornmeal. Because before we started growing our own corn like that, the field corn, I had never had cornbread made from freshly milled cornmeal. Now let me just tell you, I ain't never had nothing like it in a good way. It is really good. After you figure out how to make it. I can make cornbread all day long with the darn self-rising cornmeal. But that freshly milled stuff, it's definitely a learning curve.
Well, y'all, that is it. Every bit of the fall cutting is now baled up. So we have 76 bales total. When I started this field, I had 41. So that's 35 bales off of this field. 10 more bales than we got in springtime. That's pretty cool. But it looks good. And I didn't want to say it yet, but now that I'm done, I'll say it. The old Heston 540 has done an absolute wonderful job ever since we put them new belts on. It is unbelievable how much better this thing bales hay with the new belts than it did with those belts that was on it when I bought it. I mean, just look. Those are some really nice looking bales out through there. I'm tickled to death with this baler. There's only one thing I would change about it, if I could change something about it. And that's that pickup down there that picks the hay up. I wish it was about 6 inches wider on this side and 6 inches on the other side. So about a foot total wider would make this baler right here. It would make it a really good baler. But it's still a really good baler. It would make it even better baler. But that's it. My goodness, I'm so glad that's done. I am so glad that's done. Well, now we got to get it out of the field. But that's not near as stressful as trying to bale it because, well, I don't know. You're always scared something's going to break when you go to baling. I guess it's time. I'm gonna get back to the house. I'll get the baler cleaned off sometime later this evening. We'll get the hay bales out of the field, I don't know, later on this week sometime or another. Ain't no big hurry, as long as I get them out before it rains. But anyways, there it is. Fall cutting 2025 is complete. Thank goodness.
Them little peppers smell hot. I only put 4 in there and I didn't cut them up so we could
Scoop them to the side.
yeah.
Alright.
So we'd still get the taste, but not the heat.
What happened to that one?
It broke. Some of them was like that.
This has become my favorite meal. Milk my cheese.
They don't look too shabby.
No, they don't.
Do that broke one like that.
I went that away with it.
Did you?
Made a little short taco. It's good.
Oh yeah. Thank you for picking me some lettuce.
Yeah, I guess I need to water it. It's wilted.
It'll be alright.
First time we've had to deal with water in about all year.
I know. Well, when it decided to quit, it quit, didn't it?
It did.
Well, so now I'm gonna need us a bite.
Yep. Ready? I tell y'all what, them tacos was right, wasn't they?
Yeah, they were a little warm, but they were good.
Yeah, that little pepper, it lit them up. But man, I tell you what, gosh, they was good.
Yeah, I think it was the pepper because I don't think any of the salsa I made was quite that hot.
Yeah, something was hot.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was good though. They hit the spot.
I guess we'll get the tractor unloaded. I've got a piece of a roll, not very much at all, inside the roller. We'll roll it out to the horses, and
Okay.
I'll get this thing blowed off this evening and call it a day.
Hay season 2025 is
Almost over.
almost done.
It's got to be got out of the field. I'll let it out.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was much.
I'm gonna tell you, that's a monster.
Big one, ain't it?
Hang on, I come help you. Maybe Fozzie, don't you come out here? See me out here chasing Lovey one day. He come out. I need a rake.
Pretty hay, ain't it?
It is. That's some nice looking hay.
I think I'll just blow it out right here. And then I can take my blower and blow the hay up into the pasture.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yes, something I like to do is make sure I blow out, even if it's going to sit under shelter, all that right there, you know, over the winter, if any kind of moisture or something gets on it.
It'll set up.
It'll sit up and be a good place to hold moisture and cause something to rust. So when I'm done with it, I like to get everything cleaned out of it. All in all, I think like spring cutting and fall cutting, we got a total of about 100 and, this is just a rough guess, but it's right around 150 rolls is what we've got.
That's pretty good then. That's really good.
Yeah, that's more than we've ever had going into the winter. However, they're smaller rolls,
So
it's going to take more.
So I would probably say what? If we were doing it with them big rolls that we used to do, it would probably be like 75 then. Because that would be
close. Yeah. And that's about what we normally have anyways, is 75 rolls. Yeah.
So that'll be about right then.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping...
I don't know. It might be a little bit more than 75 of those rolls. Well, might be more like 100 or so.
Well, my hope is that they won't waste as much of it this year either, because it's not going to be as much sitting out there at one time.
Right.
And we don't have enough animals to eat it up fast enough. Yeah.
So the bales we've been using before this year were baled by my daddy, and they were 4x5 bales. Net wrap bales, newer baler, makes a whole lot tighter bale than what this thing does. So there's a lot of hay crammed in them 4x5 bales. These are 4x4s and probably a little bit looser bale, so not near as much hay in one bale of hay.
Right.
So at this point, we can't officially say how much hay it's going to take us to get through the winter.
Not with these rolls, not yet.
But I am about positive we've got more than enough.
Yeah, I would think so. Anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope you might have learned a little something. That is a wrap for hay season 2025.
Thank goodness.
Hopefully we can get it out of the field here in a few days. And also, before we end the video, keep in mind that on September the 20th, which is this upcoming Saturday, we will be in Jemison, Alabama at the Great Fall Garden Festival at Petals from the Past. We're really excited to go see our friends in Alabama and meet a lot of y'all. And then also on October the 4th, we will be at the Foothills Farm Festival in Danbury, North Carolina. And we've met several of y'all through the years at that festival. And, well, this year will be no different. And we really look forward to that on October the 4th in Danbury, North Carolina. So come by and see us. Come by and say hello. We look forward to meeting every one of you. And anyways, because we will be in Alabama this week, you know, because it's a good little ways from us, the videos may be short the next couple of weeks, because we do most of our videoing on weekends, and well, the weekend's going to be kind of taken up with other events.
We've got a busy next few weeks ahead of us here.
So, you know, videos may go from 3 videos a week to 2, but I'll be sure to keep an eye on the Facebook page. I always put when new videos come out there, and I will, if anything's going to change with the schedule, I'll try to make a post on YouTube too. So hopefully everybody gets the word.
That's right.
And if you got your notifications on, you'll know when we put out a video anyway. So.
That's exactly right.
Well, most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
But anyways, guys, till we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.